What's going on, NFL world? This is your boy Niner Game Podcast back with another video. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything NFL. So this week, because as you see in the caption, there was so many ass whoopings handed out left and right. Teams just beating the brakes off of other teams. I had to do a show. Usually I turn these into shorts. I try to keep it very small, very minimal, but this was flat out insane. It was a consistent butt whooping handed out every other game almost. And unfortunately, we got to start with a team that I have a small little bit of an admiration for because I have a player there that I want to succeed and that I think is great. And I think he will continue to succeed. But this was just not one of them days he was going to succeed. And we have to start with the first beatdown of the week. It was the Bears and the Browns, and as you can see, good Lord, 31-3. Mm, mm. Just this was ugly, people. Um, so if I'm not mistaken, the Browns mascot, technically speaking, is supposed to be a dog. I think Browns fans, if you're out there, correct me on that. But I think their mascot's supposed to be a dog. A dog has no shot against a bear in the animal kingdom. Don't get me wrong. You see the little videos where dogs show no fear and they bark and they run bears off out of their yard and certain things like that. It's only because the bear is just kind of unaware of their surroundings and they may have ventured off into, a pedestrian riddled area with human beings. So, every now and then you see a little bit of fear. But at the end of the day, an actual grizzly bear would just smack a dog and it would be over. Let's just keep it a buck. And that's what happened. The Bears came in angry, fresh out of hibernation, hungry, and feasted on the Browns in every which way. It's definitely a little bit rough for the Browns fans because, of course, they would love to win. It definitely was not a good game for Shador Sanders. It was definitely very hard for him to do anything out there. When you just take a look at the sheer numbers, he was 18-35, 177 yards. He threw 3 interceptions and took 5 sacks. That is a very bad game from your quarterback, especially from your rookie quarterback. But one thing that people have to understand is he is a rookie. He's going to make mistakes, and you'll see him continually grow and progress. I want to give y'all a gentle reminder. Give him the same grace y'all gave every other quarterback. Because when Peyton Manning came in the league, he stunk up the joint. 4-11 and led the league in interceptions that year. I'm just going to throw that out there. So please do not malign Shador Sanders as this being the career-defining season and it's over and we told you so and all that other stuff. Y'all need to get that man the same grace y'all gave Peyton Manning and that you gave Drew Brees and that you gave Tom Brady and that you gave all these other quarterbacks that have come in and not necessarily did the best, I'm saying at the early points in their careers, but they wound up eventually working out and showing people who they really were. So give him that same grace. But yeah, this was definitely a beatdown of epic proportions. You flip to the other side, Caleb Williams, 17-28, 242 yards, 2 TDs. He was sacked 3 times though. And then you've got DeAndre Swift, 18 carries, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. So you got 4 total touchdowns from the Bears. They scored in every quarter except for the second quarter, and the Browns could only muster a field goal in the third quarter. That was it. When you take a look at the rushing, this is another thing that I was talking about in this beatdown is the unfortunate situation where they're not paying attention. A rookie quarterback's best friend is going to be the running game. And you match that man to throw the ball 35 times versus running the ball 16. You're not averaging things out for him. You're not evening it out properly. And you gotta make sure that you develop a scheme that gets Quinshon Judkins involved a lot more. He's a very viable running back. Harold Fannin Jr., 7 catches, 48 yards. That's a pedestrian game for him, especially with Shador. He's been doing a lot better. But what this speaks to, honestly, is the Bears defense showing up. That's what this is. The Bears defense came through and just said, look, Rook, we understand the lore. We know the name. We respect your pops. But on this field, it's war. And we got to come out here and show you what's what. And that's what they did. That Bears defense hey, 3 interceptions and 5 sacks. You can't ask much more from your defense on any given day. I'm sorry, you cannot. And if you're looking for more out of your defense, you're just greedy at this point. You know what I mean? Caleb Williams fumbled, but he lost it, but he fumbled, but he recovered it. So that wasn't an issue. When you take a look at the 5 sacks, DeMarco Jackson, Austin Booker, Grady Jarrett, uh, Javon Dexter Sr., all of those dudes just after Shador Sanders. And then when you look at the 3 interceptions, CJ Gardner Johnson, DeMarco Jackson, Jalen Johnson, these dudes were out there showing up and showing out. Now I got to see these dudes in a couple of weeks, you know what I'm saying, as far as the Bears are concerned. So that's definitely going to be a fantastic game to watch. And, Cairo Santos, he hit everything, but he missed a field goal. Once again, that only strengthens the beat down by 3 points and makes it, I'm saying, a 31-point beat down instead of 28. You know what I'm saying? So it's extremely frustrating for the Cleveland Browns, you know what I'm saying, because they're just not winning and things aren't going the right way. And you never know what's going to happen. Now, Myles Garrett did get himself a sack and a half. And I believe that puts him right at right on the cusp of the record. I believe he only needs one more sack to at least tie it. I will look at that really quick with y'all because I do believe he is at 21 and a half now, if I'm not mistaken. And 22 and a half is the single season record held by Michael Strahan, who openly stated that record is pretty much gone. So, yep, he's at 21 and a half. He just needs one more to be able to tie the record. He would need 2 more or at least 1.5 to break the record. And I do believe that Myles Garrett is definitely going to do that. I don't doubt that he will go out there and he will win very easily. But, hey, I'm telling y'all right now, man, this was a beatdown of epic proportions. There's nothing you could do, man. The Bears just came in there and mauled those poor Browns. Okay, those dogs didn't have a shot, and you know what, at winning anything because they just wound up walking into, I'm saying, the Bears then unexpectedly, not realizing where they were, and next thing you know, boom, just get smacked with a massive paw with claws and everything like that, and you can't do nothing about it. You just got to lay down and take that L. Now, this next one comes from the Browns. Not from the Browns. This one comes from the Ravens to the Bengals. Now, we all know the Raven is an extremely smart bird, one of the smartest birds out there in the world. And they are scavengers. Typically, they'll feast on just about anything. Heck, they'll feast on you if you sit there too damn long and you're not paying attention to moving. But Ravens are extremely smart birds. And here's the thing. A Bengal tiger is a massive animal. It's one of the biggest cats in the world, if not the biggest cat in the world. And here's the thing about this. This Bengal tiger was, what I like to say is at the end of its rope, and in the animal kingdom, you know what I'm saying? One of the things you have to remember is the Lion King. When, Mufasa was explaining to Simba the circle of life and how things work and how when we die, our bodies become the grass. And the antelope eat the grass. And here's the thing. This Bengal tiger was on his last leg. He laid down and it was a flock of ravens that came down and just feasted on him. They destroyed that carcass. There's nothing left. They left a little bit for some vultures to be able to go ahead and try to get a piece. But at the end of the day, they pecked away at that Bengal tiger. They made sure that his end was not very friendly. He was laying down to take his last breath. They came, pecked his eyes out, went there, just started biting on anything they could find, and the tiger could do nothing but just lay there and take it. This is a 24-0 beatdown of the Bengals. The Bengals didn't score at all. They got donutted. The Ravens didn't score in the first quarter, but they scored in every other quarter. And this just goes to show you that Joe Burrow is done. He is tired. He doesn't care anymore. He doesn't want to deal with this. He is done with the Bengals. Let me explain something to you. That man had he went 25, 39, 225 yards and 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Joe Burrow at the press conference just looked like life was just like he wasn't having fun anymore. And see, that's the problem. When you get a quarterback that's out there that's that damn good, Joe Burrow is so freaking good. When you get a quarterback that has played with the team, that has unfortunately dealt with injuries and dealt with teams that just aren't that good, goes out and puts up record-breaking seasons, but the defense just can't hold water, and you run him into the ground like that, it becomes not fun anymore. At this point, Joe Burrow is very early in his career. He's got a lot more time left on the field. Quarterbacks have the longest shelf life out of most players, outside of, I would say, punters and kickers. Punters and kickers are going to last forever because as long as you keep making the field goals, why are they going to get rid of you? As long as you keep putting the ball at least about a good 40 or 50 yards, why would they get rid of you? So right after punters and kickers, you have quarterbacks. They last the longest for the most part. And when you destroy someone's fun, it doesn't make them want to do things the right way. You don't give them the opportunity to go out there and smile and play the game, with that childlike joy of just being on the field. Joe Burrow is there now. And I don't know if they're ever going to be able to bring him back out of it. And I can tell you right now, I know teams in the offseason are going to start calling. They are going to start throwing it out there. Hey, man, look, I give you this. I give you that. I give you the whole front. You would have it. Joe Burrow, and I'll state this. Joe Burrow is so good, you might have somebody pull a Mike Ditka. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, this is what I will tell you. Mike Ditka, years and years and years ago, I can't remember what year it was, he traded away, I believe, if not his whole draft, damn near his whole draft, just to get Ricky Williams. He thought that guy was that good of a talent that he went and just gave up almost, I think, every draft pick just to get one player. Now, mind you, Ricky Williams didn't last that long in the league, but he was a spectacular talent while he was here. But Joe Burrow, if you can keep that man healthy and put a solid offensive line in front of him, that man can take you to Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. One thing that I want to remember, what I want you guys to remember is Patrick Mahomes consistently has been winning. His defense has been good. His offense has been good. He was doing everything that he was doing. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson couldn't beat Patrick Mahomes. But you know who did? Joe Burrow did. Walked right in there and didn't care. Took him out. Went to LA partying, doing everything. So it just goes to show you that you can win with this guy. He's shown you, he's given you the numbers, he's giving you the tape. There's no reason to think that he doesn't have the talent, because talent definitely exists, but it's just unfortunate because it's being wasted on a team like the Bengals. And that's why certain players don't do things. The situation with Joe Burrow and the Bengals is literally why back in the day, players used to hold out because they didn't want to play on specific teams when they were actually legally ready for the draft. That's how bad this is. Bo Jackson, I forget who drafted him. I think it was the Bucks. I think it was the Bucks that drafted him, and he sat out that year. Wouldn't play baseball, I believe, for the Kansas City Royals, and then came back the next year and got drafted by the Raiders. Players will start to do these things because they do not want to wind up with a team that's going nowhere. Now, mind you, he went with the Raiders. They didn't go nowhere. He wound up having, I believe, a hip and a knee injury that just derailed his career altogether. So that was definitely unfortunate because Bo was one of the best two-way players ever as far as playing baseball and football outside of Deion Sanders. So this game right here, Lamar Jackson, 8 of 12, 150 yards, 2 TD, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times. So he was sacked more than Joe Burrow, had less yardage than Joe Burrow, and threw the ball almost, Joe Burrow threw the ball almost double and 4 more than what he, 6 more, I apologize, than what Lamar did. That's insanity. That's complete insanity, man. So, you know what I mean? It leads you to believe that there's definitely problems over there in Cincinnati. Their run game was pretty much non-existent. You had Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 100 yards. He was averaging 9.1 yards a carry. And then, of course, Zay Flowers and Rasheen Ali, they both caught TD passes. Jamar Chase still got 10 catches, 132 yards. But you come in, you look at it, the fumbles, nothing there. Both teams fumbled, but they recovered their fumbles. You take a look at the sacks. Demetrius Knight Jr. had 2. Miles Murphy had 2. I believe that Trey Hendrickson is shut down for the season, so he'll do whatever he does when the offseason comes. But then you got the sacks from the Ravens, Travis Jones, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson. You know what I'm saying? The interceptions, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Van Noy getting those. And then you've got Jordan Battle, you know, for them getting that one interception. But this was just a game of just beat down, beat up, destroyed, distraught. Nothing could get going on offense. And it becomes very unfortunate because as a Bengal fan, you would not want your quarterback to feel this way. You don't want your quarterback to think this way or look that dejected in an interview where he is basically saying, I don't even want to play anymore, bro. Like at this point, I don't even care. They've been eliminated from the playoffs, so that much is true. And I'll give y'all a playoff update here in just a second. But this was an unfortunate beatdown of the week, man. Ravens just went in there and obliterated them. Pecked out the eyes of that Bengal tiger, left it as a carcass, and just kept on moving. Flew on to the next body, scavenge. So the next beatdown coming, and this was another donut here, man. Another team that's just horrible. Another team that just does not find a way to cut the mustard in any way, shape, or form. And they need to figure it out. And they need to figure it out fast. Minority owner, Tom Brady. You've got, Davis as the owner. You got Pete Carroll as the head coach. You got off of Geno Smith and went to Kenny Pickett, and nothing changed. You guys still suck. And we're talking about none other than the old other Bay Area team. Used to be the Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders. They just got their asses handed to them by the Eagles. Now, this is the situation where you got to think about it. Raiders, you see the logo, you see the sign. So the Raiders obviously would raid things, and they would pillage and they would plunder. You know what I'm saying? I would liken them possibly somewhat to pirates to an extent. But here's the thing. Y'all came around messing in the wrong jungle and in the wrong area of the forest, and these eagles swooped down and took their talons and ripped your eyeballs out. They pecked away at your brains. They went ahead and ate at your body while you were sitting there screaming, and then eventually came back up in the air, came back down and flew. Eagles have vision. Their vision is insane. If you don't know what an eagle's vision is like, definitely look it up. It's crazy. They can see things from miles away. The Eagles spotted the Raiders on their land and came in a flock and band together and just swooped down fast as all get out. Took their talons, ripped people's throats out, pecking out eyes, all kinds of shit. It was just a massacre. The Raiders didn't score at all. The Eagles scored in every single quarter. You had Kenny Pickett 15 to 25 for 64 yards. You mean to tell me on offense, your quarterback could only muster 64 damn yards? That is pathetic. 64 yards and intercepted, and he was sacked 4 times. As a Raider fan, I wouldn't even want to be a Raider fan. I wouldn't let nobody know I was a Raider fan. That's how bad it's been. They have been irrelevant ever since John Madden left. I'm just throwing it out there. They really have. You haven't seen a season from the Raiders that's been viable. I think the last time they had a viable quarterback was Rich Gannon. And I think that was like 99 or 2000, somewhere early, in that time frame. It's just been horror after horror after horror. Now, mind you, Jalen Hurts, he didn't do much. 12, 15, 175 yards, but he threw 3 touchdowns. He was only sacked once. And he was so good that he didn't have to finish the game. He did Tanner McKee come in, throw 3 for 3, 33 yards. You mean to tell me you let a backup quarterback and get 3 for 3 on you when you was getting beat down like this? I mean, damn, at about a minimum, I would at least want to show some kind of competitive strength and say, you know what, I ain't going to let the backup score nothing or get any passes. But it is what it is. You take a look at the rushing. Aston Genty, 9 carries, 35 yards. That's not going to cut it. You know what I mean? You flip over to the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, 22 carries, 78 yards, 1 TD. That'll work. That's good enough. You know what I'm saying? And this honestly pisses me off for fantasy purposes only. Dallas Goedert, you have been worthless for almost 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And last week I decided to sit you because you had been garbage and you had not been giving me no damn points. And you decided to show up in the Raiders game and go 6 catches, 70 yards, and 2 damn TDs. Come on, bro. Couldn't help a brother out. Good Lord. But Devontae Smith, 2 catches, 50 yards. A.J. Brown's 2 catches, 41 yards in the tutty. And then you know what I'm saying, you looking at the Raiders, Brock Bowers, 6 catches, 28 yards. It's supposed to be the best tight end in the league. 6 catches, 28 yards. That's just, I'm just saying, man, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying? So the 4 sacks from the Eagles came from Brandon Graham, Moro Ojomo, Nolan Smith, and Nolan Smith Jr. You got 6 TFLs, 5 passes defense. You had Zach Bond with the interception. And then for the Raiders, the 1 lone sack came from none other than Max Crosby, who I feel bad for. I don't know why he's still a Raider. I would have been wanted out. I'd have told him a long time ago, trade me, please. Let me go somewhere where I can win, where I can feel where I can know what winning feels like, where I'm actually happy, where I'm actually producing. Jake Elliott was 100% on all his kicks, on his field goal, and on his extra points. And in Vegas, they just did nothing, man. Like, for me, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Las Vegas need to tear everything down and start over. And they need to start over for real, for real. Like, actually, like, when I say start over, like, really start over, man. Like, just revamp the whole damn squad. Get rid of Pete Carroll. He's old. His ways aren't working. It's not going to cut it. You know what I'm saying? Draft yourself a quarterback. And then every other draft pick after that should be an offensive lineman. And whoever you bring in as a head coach should be, hey, what's going on, Matt Moses? Whoever comes in as a head coach, you should be, making sure that they're an offensive-minded head coach. Get you one of the best DCs out there. Find yourself a defensive coordinator that you can do. Hell, I am not for this, but I would honestly say at a bare minimum, if I want me a DC and I want somebody good, I'm going to go after Robert Saleh. I'm poaching him from the Niners. I'm doing whatever I got to do. However, underhand, I'm finding a way to turn the Raiders from a laughing stock in the league to an actual formidable force in the AFC West. It's ridiculous. Every single year they are a joke. And this game just proved it more, man. You get your ass whooped 31-0. Y'all didn't even try, man. I'm sorry. Y'all definitely didn't try. So it is what it is, man. Eagles take that. They fly high. Shout out to my dog, Ellison. He'll be on the Regal Eagle podcast tonight. You know, him going against a couple other cats, but it's going to be all right. I know my dog. He going to hold it down. So this next beatdown that we're going to talk about is one that's a little bit different. And the way that I can describe this is it was a 28-point massacre. That's what it was. A 28-point massacre. Now, mind you, every team scored in every quarter. But Trevor Lawrence didn't care. He didn't care at all. Trevor Lawrence decided to take the game into his own hands. Trevor Lawrence, let me just stop sharing. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence accounted for 6 damn touchdowns by himself. He threw 5 and ran for 1. Insanity. And yes, you are right, Matt Moses. The Raiders are sorry excuse for a franchise. Yeah. They are a disgrace to California and Vegas, bro. And I think Vegas. The funny thing is, Vegas is taking everything from Oakland. I believe Vegas bought the A's, the Athletics. I think they now own the rights to them or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just bad, man. It's really ugly. But when I say that, man, Trevor Lawrence, 6 touchdowns, just him by himself. He is definitely the leading fantasy quarterback this week. I believe he almost had like 50 or 60 points in fantasy football. So if you started Trevor Lawrence, you ate like nobody's business. There wasn't a quarterback out there that was better than him. But I will go ahead and share the screen again. I just had to stop and just recognize the greatness from Trevor Lawrence, man. I'm sorry. Like at the end of the day, that is definitely the case. So you have Brady Cook, 22 of 33, 176 yards, 1 TD, and 3 interceptions. I don't know what's going on with the Jets and the quarterbacks and the situation, but it's pathetic. It's worthless and it's not going anywhere. The Jets are another organization that just needs to figure things out. I know that they got their new head coach. I forgot his name. I think it's Aaron Glenn. And he's looking toward the future and looking toward next year and whatnot. But you can't keep putting this trash on the field and expecting Jets fans to be okay with this. This is bad. Isaiah Davis, 9 carries, 58 yards, 1 TD. Brady Cook, 6 carries, 39 yards. Breece Hall, 12 carries, 23 yards. Breece Hall is supposed to be your all-star running back, and that man averaged 1.9 yards per carry. You could run the ball 4 times and still not get a first down with that average. That's bad. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no Garrett Wilson. I believe Alan Lazard was cut, so don't be surprised if Alan Lazard is a Steeler there within the next couple of days. That's always going to happen because Aaron, he'd like to have his people, even though he got DK Metcalf over there. So he's just taking a look at it, man. He was sacked 3 times. He threw 3 interceptions. Brady Cook is just a horrible quarterback. Adonai Mitchell is your leading receiver with 6 catches, 58 yards, and 1 TD. Malachi Moore, he recovered a fumble that was lost by De'Ami Brown, but that didn't mean nothing because obviously they didn't do anything with it. And then you take a look at it. No sacks from the Jets. Only 2 TFLs. Only 3 passes defense. Just not good numbers. Nick Folk was 100%. But that's all you really had to go on. There's nothing else that's good about this. And then you look at the Jags. Trevor Lawrence, 20 of 32, 330 yards, 5 touchdowns, wasn't touched. Not a sack. Fantastic game. Trevor Lawrence, 5 carries, 51 yards, 10.1 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. And he had a long run of 20. So if you take it, that's 4 carries for 30 yards. That's still a fantastic average, people. That's 7 yards a carry, even after the explosive. I'm just throwing that out there, man. Travis Etienne, 12 carries, 32 yards, 2.7 yards carry. Opportunistic things happen. You know what I'm saying? So Etienne, although he didn't really do too much in the run game, the man still went over 100 yards, 100 scrimmage yards, and he had 3 TDs because he caught 3 TD passes from Trevor Lawrence. The other 2 TD passes went to Brian Thomas Jr. and Bayshaw Tootin. And the Jags just went out there willing and dealing. They didn't even have a receiver over 300 yards, over 100 yards receiving, and they still just murdered. This is why I tell y'all, gaudy stats don't mean anything without the touchdowns to go for it, go with them, and that's what happens. You don't see super gaudy stats, but you see touchdowns, and that's what matters. You take a look at the sacks here. Eric Murray had a sack. Dennis Gardeck had a sack. B.J. Green had a sack, and those are the 3 sacks. They had 7 TFLs, 6 passes defense. So they doubled up on the passes defense. They tripled up on the tackles for loss and tripled up on the sacks because the Jets couldn't even create any pressure. And then, of course, you have the 3 interceptions. Antonio Johnson, Ventrell Miller, Monteric Brown. The Jags are looking like a nice little viable threat in the AFC, and they are in to play. Cam Little was 100% for his kicks and his field goals. So let me give y'all a proper explanation of what happens here. See, the Jets are the Jets, okay? We know what a jet is. Jet is an airplane. You know what I'm saying? You get in the jet, you fly where you want to fly. You could get, jets get you wherever you want to go fast. Here's the problem. That jet was going somewhere fast, and it crashed in the wrong damn spot. You landed in the Amazon, and the Jaguars came and ate up everything. They destroyed every passenger on that plane, including the pilot. There was no hope. There was no rescue. There was no nothing. A little tackle box that, you actually can use to go ahead and communicate with people and tell them where you are, or throw out a GPS signal so somebody can come and help you and find you. Yeah, they ate that too. The Jags just went in there and just ripped that wreckage to shreds because that's what the Jets are. The Jets are so bad of an organization, they crash and burn damn near every game. And this is exactly what happened. They crashed and burned in the Amazon, and the Jags came through and just ripped them all to shreds. and then walked away as if they didn't know that that jet was even there. That's literally how this happened. It was just ugly, just seriously ugly beatdown, man. 28 points. I don't know how you call yourself a team after getting your ass whooped like that, man. That is flat out ridiculous. And then we have the final beatdown of the week. And it's another team, man. It just, these teams got to figure things out. It just gets uglier and uglier for them every year. And this one, I will state, is even worse. You know what I'm saying? Because the Cardinals, I always jokingly say that the Rams don't have fans. The Cardinals really don't have fans. I live in Arizona. I can tell you right now, if I had season tickets to the Cardinals, I guarantee you I could sell them and make an abundance of money. And most of the money that I would make from them would be from the opposing team's fans. The opposing team's fans take over Cardinal Stadium every single year. Green Bay Packers, that stadium was green and yellow. 49ers, we take over. We run that. Hell, the bars that are sitting there, we run those bars. They're 49er bars. I mean, it's sad. Now, mind you, they did have to go to Houston. They went into the Texans' house. There ain't many Cardinal fans in Texas. I can tell you that much. If there are, they're far few and in between. Okay? Jacoby Brissett, 27-40, 3 TDs, 1 interception. He was only sacked twice. Typically from your quarterback, that's not a bad game. Not a bad game. CJ Stroud, 22-29, 263 TDs, no interceptions. He was only sacked once. For rushing, yeah, Michael Carter, 14 carries, 56 yards. Corey Kiner, 2 for 11. You go up over to Houston. Jahar Jordan, 15 carries, 101 yards. Woody Marks, 7 for 30. You know what I'm saying? You look at the receiving. Trey McBride, 12 catches, 134 yards, 2 TDs. Michael Wilson, 5 catches, 54 yards, 1 touchdown. And then when you look at this, Nico Collins, 3 catches, 85 yards, 1 TD. Dalton Schultz, 8 catches, 76 yards, 1 TD. And then you come down, you take a look at it. There were a few fumbles by both teams, you know what I'm saying? And then you take a look at the sacks. Those 2 sacks from the Houston Texans came from Daniil Hunter and Danico Autry. And then you've got that 1 sack for them from Walter Nolan III, their first-round pick. Interception from Kamari Lassiter. And you just take a look at it, man, and this is what it was. Kaimi Fairburn, 4 or 5 on his field goals, 4 or 4 on his points. So he scored those 16 points. I mean, everything worked out. The Texans just chilled at home and went into the woods. In Texas, they hunt. Okay? You hunt in Texas. If you live in Texas and you hunt, that's a normal thing. That is an everyday thing. So instead of them going out hunting wild boar, hogs, deer, elk, whatever you want to find, they decided to hunt cardinals. And they didn't even have to actually get themselves any real guns. They just went out there with pellet guns and just found a cardinal haven. There was just a bunch of little birds around them, and they just kept shooting. And the birds just kept falling. What's going on, Papa J? And they just kept shooting. The birds kept falling. And the birds just falling out. And a cardinal is a very small, tiny, miniature bird. So you got to have a good shot. Now, these Texans, they're a good shot now. And they went in there and beat the brakes off of these Cardinals. This was ugly, man. It was just a beat down, 20 points. That's 3 touchdowns. I'm just saying, people, your teams have to be better. You cannot keep getting your butt whooped like this week in and week out and then expect your fans to show up for you. This is why Cardinal fans don't show up at the stadium. They ain't going to watch that crap. Why would I want to go to the stadium and watch my team just get brakes beat off of them on a consistent basis? Now, mind you, I'll tell you this. As a fan, and this was ingrained in me from my mother and my uncle, as a fan of a team, you never give up on them. You stick with your team. If that's your team, you stay with your team. You don't run away from it. You don't leave when the time is bad and come back when the times are good. You don't disappear, all that stuff. You don't do that. Here's the thing. Cardinal fans ain't got no choice. They just have to keep sucking year in and year out. And word is out of Cardinal country that they are going to get rid of Kyler Murray and move on from him. So you gave that man all that money for what? You should have never paid him in the first place. At least that's what I would think. But the other big news in the NFL, Tua Tagovailoa has been benched. And this is not a benching because their season is over. This is a benching because he deserved to get benched. Tua Tagovailoa in his last game came out and just did nothing. And it was pretty pathetic. I'm going to give you his stats here. I just got to find the game. Where'd it go? Did they play? They played. They had to play. Where the dang Dolphins at? Patriots, Jets, Commanders, Lions, Saints, Panthers. There we go. They were the Monday night game. Tua Tagovailoa, 22 of 28, 253 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception, took sacks 4 times. They had a nice little win streak before this. But I think what's happening is they're trying to see what they got in these other quarterbacks. If I'm not mistaken, I was watching First Take this morning, and they are on the hook for at least about $90 million with Tua. Really big cap hits. But here's the thing. This goes back to what I've stated before. You can't keep paying quarterbacks all this money, and they've done nothing to earn that type of cash. I would have never paid Tua Tagovailoa. I would have never paid Kyler Murray. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain quarterbacks that just got paid and they didn't need it. If you remember a while back, there was a quarterback. He went to ASU. His name is Brock Osweiler. Osweiler had himself a couple good games in Denver and left for Cleveland. Turned around. She proved to be trash. I think he went to Houston even for a bit. It was trash there. And now there is no Brock Osweiler in the NFL. Some guys just wind up getting paid. Some guys don't. I forget the name of the quarterback that the Bears paid, but they paid him a hefty ransom. And he did nothing for them. Lots of quarterbacks in the league have gotten broken off, and these teams are paying them exorbitant amounts of money, and they don't have the resume that has earned them that cash. Do you know that there are quarterbacks that are not in the league right now that have playoff record wins that would be better than half the quarterbacks starting right now? Colin Kaepernick has a better playoff record than a lot of these starting quarterbacks that are getting paid ridiculous amounts of money. And he's sitting on the couch. I'm just going to throw it out there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that the team should go and pick up Colin Kaepernick. I'm just using it as an example. I'm stating you can't overpay dudes. And I'm sorry, if you ain't brought me no playoff wins, if you ain't done that, you ain't going to sit up in here and try to run my pockets. That's okay. I'll start over with a new quarterback. I might like you, but if you have brought me no playoff wins, I have seen no progression for you. I haven't seen anything better than what you have to offer in these 4 to 5 years, especially if I picked you in the first round. That's a guarantee. 5 years is more than enough time for me to evaluate a quarterback. Everything in that 5 years is going to tell me what I need to know. Whether they're injury prone, whether they can do certain things, whether they can't do certain things, if it's footwork that they need to work on, how can I scheme up things to make sure I play to his quarterback strengths and not his weaknesses? Is he actually practicing on the weaknesses in the offseason? All these things can be encompassed in that 5-year span. That will tell you whether you truthfully really need to pay this guy or not. And if that quarterback doesn't do anything in that 5 years that really gives you a reason to pay them, don't do it. You handicap your franchise. Because you have to pay what the market dictates. So I'm saying, people. Now, this would be something that I would think that, I mean, look, Papa J got it out. Look, Miami, you have been looking for a replacement since Dan Marino. Papa J is saying, give the farm up. Go get Joe. Because I can tell you right now, Joe Burrow probably would flourish in a Mike McDaniels-led system. But here's the thing. You're going to have to do a couple of things. You need to put an offensive line in front of Joe Burrow because he does not want to continually get sacked all the damn time. You need to make sure you have a defense that can hold a lead when Joe Burrow gives them one. Because if those two things are not in place, I don't believe that Joe Burrow is going to want to move to go elsewhere to continually lose. You're going to have to sell that man a serious dream. Okay, you're going to have to tap into your inner pimp and tell that man a serious dream. Okay, and I said it that way specifically because I mean, Papa J watching, you know what I'm saying? LA, you know, Matt Moses watch. What you have to understand about the West Coast is we understand about pimping. You dig what I'm saying? You know, pimp stand for put it in my pocket, god dang it. Now I want you to understand something. If I gotta go out there and sell you a dream to be able to get you out here on these streets to make my damn money, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sell you the biggest dream in the world, and you're gonna be the best one out there on the block getting the money. We as a team are going to win because I'm gonna give you the game. You're gonna go out there, apply the game, and then we're gonna get to this paper. You got to sell Joe Burrow a dream like that. For him to want to leave Cincinnati, go elsewhere, and be able to go somewhere where he feels like he can win. Miami, unfortunately, is another organization that's not necessarily very good, and they don't really care too much about winning. So you've got to find that information, and you got to be able to put it in front of them and lay out a game plan and say, hey, this is what we are looking at over the next couple of years. And with you in play, we can make this plan bigger and better. But if you can't do that, if you can't really give him a viable reason, Papa J just said it best. It would be another lateral move. You wouldn't go anywhere. Now, mind you, I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw this out there. I'll take Joe. I'll take Joe. If the Bengals called me and said, give us Brock Purdy and a first-round pick, look, Brock, appreciate you, brother. Love what you've done, but you're going to Ohio over there. If you give me Joe Burrow and you put him together with Kyle Shanahan, I don't see a reason we can't win. But either way, not going to keep going on that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, those were the beatdowns of the week. I had to do a show on it because it was 5 of them, and it's really hard to do 5 of those differently. But at the end of the day, man, you know, the Raiders need to figure it the hell out. Dolphins need to figure it the hell out. Cardinals need to figure it the hell out. You know what I'm saying? Bengals got to figure it the fuck out. These teams just got to get better, man. They got to get better and stop wasting these times, these great players, okay? Because right now, Miami, you're wasting the time with Jalen Waddle. Cincinnati, you're wasting the time with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, the Raiders ain't wasting nobody's time but Max Crosby. You know what I'm saying? The Cardinals, y'all are wasting Michael Wilson's time, Trey McBride's time, Buda Baker's time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just – when you're there and you just keep losing, it just becomes draining and you stop wanting to play. And you don't want to see great talent walk away from the game because they're on inept teams. You disagree with that, Papa J? So, okay, please tell me this, Papa J. They come and they ask us for Purdy and a first, and we get Joe Burrow. You really wouldn't take that? I really need you to put in the comments whether you would take that or not. You got, bro, it's Burrow, man. I'm sorry. I've seen Burrow. I've seen Brock. Burrow is a way better quarterback, man. Levels above the dude. Love Brock. I do. I love him. I love everything he's done for this franchise. I'm not mad at it. But I'm sorry. I would take Joe Burrow in a heartbeat over Brock Purdy without question. There would be nothing else you would need to say. Yeah, and you gave it your first-round pick and Brock Purdy for Joe Burrow. How do you feel? I feel fantastic. We suck with first-round picks as it is. All our first-round picks are usually garbage, or they wind up, you know, burning out, flaming out pretty quickly. Brandon Ayuk don't even want to play for us no more. We got to cut him. Ricky Pearsall can't even stay on the field. He's either shot or injured, and I don't take the shot part lightly, but he was shot the first year. He's injured this year. Javon Kinlaw was trash. He had a degenerative knee issue that the 49ers knew about. They didn't really do much with that. We had Mike McGlinchey for some years, but the minute he came up for us to be able to go ahead and extend him, they had to let him walk because they didn't want to pay him because all he could do was pass. He could run block, couldn't pass block, save his life. You know what I'm saying? Nick Bosa, we've had him for a couple of years, but there have been 2 years straight where, well, not straight, but 2 years where Nick Bosa has been on the field, torn an ACL. So all these things come into play. So these first round picks don't necessarily work out the best for us. I'm just saying throw the first round pick out there, and then you go ahead and you go Brock Purdy in the mix too. They get a quarterback. They get an actual starter who's been proven, who's won playoff games, who's done things. You can't take that away from Brock Purdy. And we get Joe Burrow. We get a quarterback that will take us into the future for years to come. That I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. But hey, man, those were the beatdowns of the week. Appreciate y'all coming in and hanging out with me. Okay, it says Joe has reached his peak in what he can do. Brock is just getting started in the long run. Brock will become better than Joe. Now, see, I was about to roll out, but okay, now you've done it. Papa J, now you have sparked something here. So give me just a couple seconds, and I am going to pull up the career numbers for Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy. And we will see who has what. Let's take a look at it. We are going into the stats. See if we can do a little comparison. Let's see, Joe Burrow. Trying to see overall stats. Let's just go stats. All right. Okay, there we go. So we got Joe Burrow's stats. Let me pull up Brock's. Mr. Purdy. Mr. Purdy. Let's see. All right, so stats. So Brock Purdy has been in the league since 2022. So he's been in the league 3 years. Joe Burrow has been in the league since 2020, so he's got a couple years on him. Right now, Joe Burrow, let's go ahead and share the screen. Let's see what we got. He says, this year, Joe is the best QB in the league, but Brock will be better. Joe's the best QB, but I'm saying Brock will outshine him in the near future. Okay, if that's the case, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a look at it. So we're going to share everything. All right, so Brock Purdy, career stats. Brock Purdy has played a total of 46 games in his NFL career. He has a 67.6 completion percentage, 10,960 yards, averaging 8.7 yards a throw, 76 touchdowns to 34 interceptions. He has been sacked a total of 76 times. So we're going to flip it, and we'll go ahead and go to Mr. Burrow. So Joe Burrow, right now, with his extra 2 years, that's all he has on Brock is 2 extra years. Joe Burrow has played a total of 74 games. So mind you, he's played a little bit more football than Brock, but we'll still take a look at it. He has a 68.2 completion percentage, so they're not too far away in completion percentages. They're very similar, but he has 19,960 yards. Joe Burrow has recorded 3 4,000-yard seasons. Brock has only recorded 1 in his career. Joe Burrow has 148 touchdowns to 50 interceptions. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know. Are they counting this season? Yes. Stats are counting this season. Yep, it's counting 2025. And Joe Burrow's only played 5 games. And right now he's at 8-4 on his touchdown to interception ratio. Brock has played 6 games and he is 12-7 on his touchdown to interception ratio. So those 2 things are there. This is all I'm saying. Joe Burrow is a little bit better, bro. I'm just gonna throw it out there, man. I like Brock. I like Brock a lot, and I love what he's doing for the team. Wouldn't give him away for anything less than the Joe Burrow, but I think Joe would definitely, yeah. That's a move you make, and I can tell you right now, I guarantee you, a ton of Niner fans would agree with me. That is a move you make. If they come calling and ask us for Brock Purdy and a first, and that's all we got to give up, easy money for me. They get a starter. They get a free first-round pick. They can do whatever they want. I get a quarterback that I can take into the future for the next 15 to 20 years. Well, no, I'll take that back. I'll say about 10 years. I ain't going to get 15. 10 years probably. You know what I'm saying? Because Burrow, I don't know how old he is, but I think he's he ain't too young. Okay, so he's 29. So, yeah, if I could get Burrow to at least 39, that'd be straight. You know what I'm saying? Because he's 29 and Brock is 25. So he's got 4 years on Brock. But it is what it is. Thank y'all so much for coming in and hanging out with me. It's like saying we should trade Monte. Nah, because Joe was winning Super Bowls, bro. That's different. Joe was winning Super Bowls. Brock hasn't won the Super Bowl. He's been there, but he ain't won one. The same thing with Joe Burrow. He's been there. He hasn't won one. But in those times, no. Marino was a great quarterback, but he just wasn't winning those Super Bowls, man. Just it is what it is. But thank y'all for tuning in and hanging out with your boy. I appreciate y'all. Everybody stay up, stay faithful, stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.